Hi, welcome to Medium Talk. My name is Cole Nunley. 5 lessons learned in 2017. I've seen several top 10 lists that reflect on the year. Many of them list the horrific events that have happened, like the Las Vegas shooting or the hurricane that hit Houston so hard. Some are positive lists that mention fidget spinners, unicorn frappes, and various scientific advancements. But what can we take home from all this? How do we move into the next year better than before? So, number one, now keep in mind, I have not put these in any particular order, but number one is know your data. We have seen a great number of data breaches in the last 10 years, and 2017 was no exception. Most recently, the data breach at Equifax released social security numbers and other data belonging to over 100 million people. We should familiarize ourselves with our personal data, so find out what information about yourself exists in digital form and where it is stored. Do you have control over this storage? Is it secure? Do you care if it's secure or not? Meaning, would you care if it were deleted, stolen, or even edited against your will? We should continue to educate ourselves on data protection. If you have data that you want to be kept secret, or at least secure from criminals, there are ways to do this, and you can find out how via a quick Google search. Number 2, continuously examine the simple picture. We've all heard the term look at the big picture, and this is an obvious spin-off of that. The spin-off being that I think big can be misleading because big sounds like you need to think big and your ideas need to be big and your thoughts need to be big. I don't know, it's just semantics. But every day you should take a moment to pause your thoughts about the details of your life. During this pause, think about your life like you only had 50 to 100 words to describe it. Think about where you live, the friends you have, your job, the family you have, the opportunities coming your way. These things don't necessarily have to be positive either, but at least it's part of the simpler picture. Hopefully, this will help you prioritize and stress less about the details that might not matter at the end of the day, week, month, or year. Number 3, deliberate, not debate. I've said before, you only debate when there is a final decision to be made. Otherwise, you should deliberate or discuss. When deliberating, understand that your opinion is not really yours. You are just observing a perspective. Additionally, understand that a perspective is a model of one whole reality or a piece of a reality. To elaborate, the perspective you are observing is like a function. The function, notated here as p, has some inputs, x, y, and z, and also a corresponding output, g. In a debate, you are focused on identifying the best perspective function to use based on the inputs you have and the output you want. Frequently, you will debate what the output should be and or even what the inputs you have are. When you discuss, you are mostly just examining all possible perspective functions and identifying their inputs, their outputs, and the realities each is most closely aligned with. Practically speaking, what is the output we want in terms of healthcare? Generally, we want healthier people across the board, and we want people to be able to afford it without unreasonable sacrifice. So what are the inputs that go into a healthcare system? There are many inputs, perhaps thousands, so we may have to just identify the major ones because it's usually impossible to create a perfect solution for a complex problem. Now we find a function that takes our input variables and outputs the desired result. Looking at your own opinion in this way can make you think more objectively. It will also allow you to have fruitful discussions and productive debates when a debate is necessary. Next time, instead of starting your statement with, "in my opinion," you could say, "allow me to present a perspective function that may closely model the current reality." Number 4, control your exposure to information. It's simple. Limit the amount of information that touches your eyes. Your mind can only process and store a small amount. This means that it is critical that information that does get processed and does get stored is important and useful. Help your brain out by actively filtering information and even blocking some sources entirely. If you don't need to know about certain celebrity drama, then unfollow, unsubscribe, block, uninstall, whatever you need to do. I dedicated an entire video to information overload. Check it out, episode 4 of season 3. Number 5, embrace strategic risk-taking without remorse. Bitcoin reached an astonishing value of over $18,000 yesterday. The success of Bitcoin has left a lot of folks wishing they had invested in it a year ago. The lesson here isn't that you should have bought Bitcoin. The lesson is that going forward, you should embrace risk. A year ago, many people thought Bitcoin was an absolute joke, and it arguably was. But what's the harm in throwing $100 into the ring and seeing what happens? You wouldn't be rich now, but you would have almost $2,000. Adversely, you could have lost that $100, and everyone who invested more could be filing for bankruptcy rather than buying their first private jet. Another very important piece to this is not investing in Bitcoin was a smart idea, regardless of how high its traded value becomes. Bitcoin is based on a new technology and its concepts are alien. It has an incredibly volatile track record, it can be stolen, and the average person has no idea how to even buy or sell it. So don't be hard on yourself for not investing in it. You made a good decision. I hope you can apply this to other parts of your life. In summary, take more strategic risks, and by the way, taking a risk can also mean not doing something. And don't forget, don't feel guilty about smart decisions you make, regardless of the outcome. The outcome of a choice does not itself determine the validity of that choice. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a Medium Talk. My name is Cole Nunley, and as always, keep creating, keep questioning.